Hi, I'm Aaron from 1851, and I'm here today with Nick, the editor-in-chief of 1851, and we're here to count down the top business stories of the week in our weekly Sizzle. And the first story that we had this week that we thought was a pretty hot story was Shake Shack. Their IPO is now valued at around $533 million. They're going to be selling the shares at $14 to $16 a share. And we really think this might be highlighting the demand of fast casual brands in the industry, and wanted to get your ideas on this news.
Well, I mean, obviously that price point is very high. So many brands, if you're watching this news, you're probably thinking that now's the time for you to explore an IPO. I believe that there's probably a trend of many brands going public right now, and some make sense and some don't. It obviously depends on the financial structure of the brand, but it is intriguing. It shows that there is a marketplace for this, especially in the very crowded Better Burger segment. That Shake Shack was able to carve it out as a corporate brand. But it should show that there is some steady interest in this field still, and the consumer is still interested in Better Burgers as a product.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. We'll keep you guys attuned to what happens once they go public. The second story that we thought was interesting was another Shack, but it's Radio Shack. And they're talking about possible bankruptcy. They're in talks with a private equity group to possibly be bought. And they also have Sprint talking to them about stealing up all of this real estate. Possibly 4,000 stores could close in the next few months. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the Radio Shack thing is interesting, and I've said this many times before, but you look at Blockbuster, and you flash back 15 years ago, and everyone would have said Blockbuster was a very innovative brand. Well, yeah, but then they closed all their locations, and people wanted to put them into a box of being a bad company. But the reality is, Blockbuster as a company spent millions and millions of dollars on market research to find the exact locations that would give them as a brand the best shot to get in front of as many consumers as possible. Well, Radio Shack's done a similar thing in the way that they've been structured. So they've spent the financial resources to identify these areas as smart locations, but where they missed the part was they didn't innovate as a brand. They got kind of lost in the shuffle, and when that happened, same with Blockbuster. Blockbuster didn't innovate when things were changing in the way that we consume our movies. Radio Shack had the same thing with the way that we consume technology. They started struggling, so innovation failed, but the locations didn't fail. So for Sprint to look at potentially purchasing it, well, that's smart, because those are already proven locations. I don't think Sprint should be the only one. I think franchise brands should get in front of this and really explore taking over this real estate. They're small boxes.
Yeah, I think it's like 2,300 square feet is the footprint.
And some of them are even smaller. So you take a restaurant brand that doesn't need much build out on the hood, could make sense. You take some of the real retail concepts that want the right location, just don't have the budget to spend on a market research department. Radio Shack's already done the homework. I would jump on it before Sprint does, or I would start talking to landlords about it now.
I agree. I think it's going to cause like a real estate shark feeding frenzy. Pizza Hut, another great story that came out this week about Pizza Hut going gluten-free with their cheese pizza and their pepperoni pizza. This is going to cause them to create a little special kitchen, almost like a kosher kitchen where they have to wear special gloves and they can't contaminate or cross-pollinate. But it shows a big brand is moving in this direction, even though I think we did some research and found out over 20% of Americans are on a gluten-free diet.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I started following this because I had friends who were celiac or allergic to gluten, had a gluten allergy in 2008, and that's where I started paying attention to it. And I watched brands like Wildfire started adding gluten-free, a specific gluten-free menu, and some of the wing chains started making sure that their product was fried in a different area to make it gluten-free. See, the thing with Pizza Hut, though, I see them as a brand. They're in this chaotic zone right now where they're getting trumped by everyone else, and they're desperate to find that next big thing. My fear with Pizza Hut as a brand is they're trying way too many things and not sticking it out on new formulas. Is gluten-free news? Not really. Everyone's already done it. They're last to the table. Look at some of these brands, some of these legacy brands that forget to make the move. Frozen yogurt's a great example. TCBY is still a wonderful brand, brand, but TCBY was late to the game of going self-serve. And they tried making it news that, hey, we're launching this new prototype, but new was not the right term. So my fear with Pizza Hut is they're in this scrambling zone where they're just throwing up as much ideas as they possibly can at the dartboard, hoping something sticks. Will it be good for their loyal customer base? Yeah, it's good to have that option. Is it going to game change them? Doubtful.
And our last story regards Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, and his new book club, which a lot of reporters are saying could be the next Oprah effect. His second book, by the way, did you know about that, or did you read the first book?
I did not read the first book.
I didn't either. But his second book is out. He wants to read one every 2 weeks, and this next one is 830 pages long, so I hope that everyone reads quickly. It's called The Better Angels of Our Nature, Why Violence Has Declined. I didn't even know violence had declined, but I guess it has.
Well, Mark Zuckerberg would know. I don't know, it's a lot of pages. How many pages did you say it was?
830.
Yeah. I wish I had that much time in a week to read that
How
much.
does he have that much time?
Yeah, that's the bigger question. No, he's trying to make a mark as an innovator, and there is a space to take over from Oprah in books, and maybe well, I mean, it is called Facebook, so maybe there is some marketing genius behind it, but I doubt it will have many legs. And Aaron, there was one other story that I wanted to bring up with you. Entrepreneur Magazine with e-cigs.
Yeah, e-cigs this week in Entrepreneur, if you're online or pick it up at the newsstand, there's a story about the very first marijuana e-cigarette franchise that's coming out, and Chip Paul, who's the CEO and founder of the company, is trying to package selling M-juice or marijuana juice through e-cigarettes, which sounds like a pretty brilliant idea.
If I could pick one area to invest every dollar that I have, it would probably be in marijuana right now. And look, it's on tape. I have never engaged in marijuana in my entire life, but
there's a lot of green in it.
Well, there's a lot of green, but you look at how the cigarette industry has shifted, or tobacco industry has shifted, because there's not as much tax dollars. So taxes had to go up because the government wanted to claim dollars off of that industry. I think the same is going to happen with marijuana, and obviously there's already been major steps taken to legalizing it. That it's amazing that this brand Palm Beach Vapors is really going to be the first franchise to own a stake in marijuana. Chip Paul is innovative, and for any of you who haven't read stories about him on 1851, I mean, he went from being a senior care franchisee, selling that, taking the funds and investing it into e-cigs because he believed that it was going to make a difference in people's lives. I remember initially talking to him, and he talked about how even the e-cigarettes were working as a food suppressant, that he had obese folks coming into his store saying, I smoke the 0 nicotine cheesecake at night just so I don't eat the food. Well, they're probably going to eat the food if they smoke the marijuana one. But,
yeah.
but it's interesting. I like seeing innovation. I like seeing innovation and franchising around things that are going to cause a lot of buzz in government news. And this is definitely on the forefront of it. So there's a lot of good things happening.
Yeah, and we'll keep you abreast of any new news that comes out on that front, especially as more of the states start to legalize it for medical uses and for consumer uses.
Sure.
Well, that's it for our weekly Sizzle. I'm Aaron from 1851. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.